and welcome back to Life Changing Solutions Live with Angie Amico. I asked Tony to stick around for this segment just because he's so awesome. But some of the things I wanted to announce was the big one. My Design Your Purpose workshop was scheduled for June 22nd and 23rd. I've actually postponed it for September 28th and 29th. So if you weren't able to, set it up, if the date wasn't working for you for this weekend, now this is your chance to be able to sign up for the September event. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, and as you guys know, I usually draw from personal experience and conversations that I have with people. And there's a lot of talk around like toxic people and forgiveness and, just, and for me, I have another perspective. So I just wanted to offer that. And so let me just actually backtrack. When it comes to toxic people, like we all know those people, right?
Oh yes, we do. It's everybody in our life. Not everybody. Some people in our life. I completely understand. I have toxic people myself.
Right, and then they're the ones that they're like, they're referred to as energy sucks or people that are so negative. They're constantly just in your ear, putting you down.
Oh yeah.
The negative Nellies. But the thing with that is that and other experts have suggested, or there's a lot of writing, is like stay away from them. Right? It kind of like, or ignore them or stay away from them.
I don't know about that, don't fall for their traps, but I said you can still be friends. Maybe try, change their focus, instead of be negative, try helping them out, be positive,
Mm-hmm.
It's because you never, I don't like burning bridges. I want to be friends with everybody. No matter what, even if they're negative Nancy's, whatever you want to call them, but I still want to be able to change their perspective because you never know what they could accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say ignore them or back away from them. Maybe don't give them as much of attention, but try to be there little by little, piece by piece. That's me.
No, I love that, and actually I think that's what I'm going to speak into because, like I said, most people will tell you, stay away from them.
Yes.
They, you don't need that in your life or what have you. But for me, I refer to this piece as identifying and honoring your lions. To me, lions are beautiful creatures. They're majestic, they're regal, and, they're all about their family. They're actually very loyal to their pride, and they're known as, like, the king of the jungle. It's like, they're freaking awesome. But it's in their nature to bite your head off, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and it's not because they chose you to eat. It's just that's in their nature. They're going to hunt, they're going to eat,
yeah.
And that's part of who they are. And so when you identify a lion, all of us are lions. We have our good and the bads. And sometimes the bads affect us in such a way that it may not be the most, I'm not going to say smartest thing, but the best thing for us to have them around us all the time.
Yeah.
But if we identify them as a lion and we can focus on their awesomeness, but still be aware of their not so awesome stuff, right? We can honor them as lions.
Yes.
And then the other thing too is that even in some cases, if we now identify them as lions, it's on us if we put our head in the cage.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Right? Like that also speaks back into personal responsibility. So now if I know that you are a lion and you can bite my head off in a split second, if I put my head in there and you bite my head off, that's on me now. Right? Like, it's not going to be something like, well, why'd you do that? Well, because they're lions. Like, they're going to eat people. That's what they do. Like, you go on safari. You still keep your safe distance.
Yeah.
There's still those boundaries that you keep, and you can still admire the lion. It just doesn't mean, like, hey, you're right. It's like we're not going to be having, tea in their cage or wherever it is that they are. So, and for me, I think that's a much healthier way of looking at it because also when you identify somebody as toxic, you're making that person wrong. You're making that person as the bad guy. You're actually becoming a victim to their toxicity.
Yes, exactly.
So, that also creates a whole other bunch of gunk there. And maybe that relationship doesn't work. Right? Like, that's a possibility. Maybe we just don't mesh well, or maybe like my negatives don't really work with your negatives, or however it works. But it doesn't make that person bad.
Mm-hmm.
or evil or whatever, versus you thinking and saying, hey, you know what, they're just a great lion that's gonna buck my head off.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, pet the lion, be nice to the lion. They're gonna take you like family, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna teach you like part of the pride. So be nice. It's all like I said. Really add to that. Just be nice. You never know you never know the situation behind every lion story.
That's
So,
another thing too.
That's why just be nice. That's why I try to do the best I can with everybody I meet. I don't know.
No, and I love that. And here's the other thing too, and here's the big kicker. So just to kind of like close this whole thing out is, identifying somebody as a lion and honoring them for who they are, all of them. And then honoring them and accepting that, hey, maybe I don't need you in my space. And so you're still honoring them. You're not saying they're bad. Oh, I need you to get out of my life. Mm-hmm. It's just saying like, hey, like I just can't. And you're still taking responsibility for yourself. So you're not being a victim to them.
Yeah.
And then the other big piece too is, what if we're the lions? What if we're the ones? You know what I'm saying? It's like, because sometimes we don't realize that, oh, I can be like, oh, you suck. You're negative. You're bad. You're toxic. Stay away from me. But then at that point, I become toxic.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So by being able to just detach yourself from that word toxicity and putting that label on somebody else and just saying, hey, I honor and love you for who you are. I just don't want to get in your cage right now.
That's right.
It just seems a lot easier. And it's, to me, a much healthier way. So I really invite everybody to look at it in that way, because we all are lions. We all have the capability of biting somebody's head off. Maybe not you, because you're just so. But
I got my head chewed off a couple of times. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. So it's like we all have that possibility. So it doesn't necessarily make us the bad guy. It's just maybe the situation or the combination of the people is what's not working. So. With that, I'm just going to go ahead and go. And I invite everybody to like my page, Life Changing Solutions, or you can also find me as Angie Amico. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Tony, for sticking around.
Thank you for having me.
And catch you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.